Now coming to the advantages of non-verbal communication. First, it is complementary. The non-verbal cues complement a verbal message by adding to its meaning. Like whenever you are speaking something, if you are doing some gestures or you are just showing some expression, then these are the non-verbal cues which complement a verbal message and it adds meaning to the verbal message. Second is easy presentation. Information can be easily presented in non-verbal communication using visuals, audio-visual aids, and some kind of silent means of non-verbal communication. Now, third one is substituting. The non-verbal messages may substitute for the verbal message, especially if it is blocked by noise, interruption, long distance, or language barrier is there. For example, if you have the gesture finger to lips, then it shows that keep quiet. So without speaking, you can show by keeping your finger to lips that the person has to keep quiet. Or either if you are nodding your face, it means a yes or no accordingly. So the fourth one is reducing the wastage of time. The message of non-verbal communication reaches the receiver very fast. The non-verbal cues are very easy to understand. Some are universal non-verbal cues which we may understand very easily, and signs and symbols can also communicate some messages very quickly as compared to the written or oral messages. Now coming to the disadvantages or limitations of non-verbal communication. First of all, it is vague and imprecise. Vague means sometimes you are not able to understand the cues, the non-verbal cues, signs. You are not able to understand. A lot of people out of like if you are having a group of 10 people, then maybe 2 are there who will not understand these signs. So they can be vague, means not having any meaning for them. Second one is continuous. It is possible to stop talking in verbal communication, but it is not possible at all to stop non-verbal cues. Third one is multi-channel. While watching in somebody's eyes, you may miss something significant through the gesture of hands. You are looking into the eyes, you may not be able to see the hand, so you miss the gesture of the hand. Everything is happening at once. They are giving non-verbal cues through eyes, through hands, and through face also. So you may miss some cue also. Then we have culture bound. The non-verbal communication is learned in the childhood and it is passed to you by your parents or people around you. So some gestures are usually universal, but some gesture may vary from one place to another. So there may be culture bound. For example, a gesture seen as positive in one culture like thumbs up in USA may be seen obscene, as obscene means not right or not looking nice, as in some other cultures. So thumbs up may be good in USA, but it may not be good in some other countries. So next one we have long conversations are not possible through the non-verbal communication or cues. Then we have body language. The body language is the major aspect of non-verbal communication, where physical behavior is used in place of words to convey the information. So body language plays a very important role in this non-verbal communication. Now what are the things which are included in the body language? Facial expressions, posture, how you are sitting or walking or standing, gestures, how you are using your hands or your how you are showing the signs on your face. Touch again may be considered in body language. The use of space, the place where you are moving around, or you are using the place which you are using for the communication. And eye movements also are very important, and they also are included in the body language. It is also known as kinesthetics or kinesics. The do's and don'ts of non-verbal message and body language, this you must be knowing. This is very important. First is do's. What are the things which you have to do it whenever you have to give a positive body language. First is make eye contact, always look into the eyes of the person whom you are speaking to. Second is have a firm handshake. If you are having a handshake, which usually you are not having in today's scenario, in corona situation, you are avoiding it, but if you are having a handshake, it should be firm. Check your facial expressions. Don't make faces, funny faces while you are speaking to somebody. You can also check it by using a mirror, practicing in front of a mirror. Be natural with your gesture. Don't try to be fake. Don't try to imitate anybody. Maintain a receptive posture. The posture should be positive. People should be getting a positive vibe out of you, and refrain from sending mismatched messages. Don't convey something through your words and convey something else through your gestures or body languages. Mismatching should not be there. Watch for actions that can be taken for defensiveness. Always keep in mind that you don't have to act offensive or either defensive also. You have to be a very neutral or stable kind of person. Don't appear disengaged. Don't look like you are not getting interested in whatever the talk is going on. Don't look disengaged. Then don'ts. Rubbing your hands together during an important meetup. Never rub your hands together during you are meeting somebody important. You can see here in the picture. Leaning back while meeting with a friend or close colleague. Never lean back. It shows that you are not interested in talking or communicating to that person. Crossing your arms during an interesting conversation. Never cross your arms while doing an interesting or important conversation. Not making eye contact. You don't have to just lose the eye contact. You have to keep the eye contact. This shows that you are engaged. And making too much eye contact, again don't try to stare. Stare का meaning आपको पता होगा, घूर के नहीं देखना है किसी को भी. Fidgeting means moving your hands and your legs unnecessarily. You don't have to do it. Touching your face too often, frequently touching the face again is not a good sign, so you don't have to do it. Now going on, we have types of communication. Here we are giving you the information through diagrams and through the charts, the hierarchy diagrams, so it is more easy to understand for you. Here we have a hierarchical chart. So types of communication, there are two types based on communication channels and based on style and purpose. Communication channel means how you are communicating. One is non-verbal, where you are not speaking anything but you are showing the signs or gestures. Second is verbal communication. Then we have oral communication or written communication. Verbal communication can be oral or written. Then we have the communication based on style and purpose. Style of communication can be formal or informal. Now one more thing is oral communication can be face to face, like you are speaking somebody who is sitting next to you, or either it can be through a distance, like I'm right now I'm talking to you and we are not on the same place, but then also we are I'm just conveying the things to you. Now meaning and importance of feedback. in a communication. Feedback, I already told you, is very important. It is the response which the receiver is giving to the sender. So feedback is the final component and one of the very important factors in the process of communication. Now, what is the definition? The response given by the receiver to the sender is called as feedback. The sender needs response of the receiver in order to decide the effectiveness of the communication. If the response is not coming, that means your communication is not effective, and the response again can be negative or positive. So feedback can be positive feedback or negative feedback. Now here we have the feedback. The feedback can be the response. It can be in the form of opinion. You may not speak up, but you form an opinion about somebody. You have some idea, you get some message, and then some idea strikes you, and you suddenly get some idea that I'm going to do this because of whatever message I have received. Then survey. Obviously, if there is a survey, then you can give the feedback in that survey. You can come and speak up. You can rate somebody. Grades can be given of whatever message you are getting. Result can be taken out for whatever message or things you have received, and you can advise something. So all these are related to feedback. So we have discussed a lot of things about feedback. Now we can move on. So what are the types of feedback? Specific feedback is very precise, to the point, and in detail. You are able to understand everything through specific feedback, whereas general feedback is non-specific, like a good job is a general remark. It is not precise, it is not specific. So general feedback can be taken as non-specific feedback. Okay, so that's what we have today. These are the things which we had to discuss. Now, next thing which comes in communication is the barriers in communication, like the things which are stopping you from having an effective communication. There may be many reasons. Here through this chart we are able to understand there can be physical, personal barriers. This red circle, it is having organizational barriers which you may not be able to see right now. Cultural barriers, semantic barriers, gender barriers, this we are going to discuss afterwards. Then perceptual barrier, language barriers, emotional barriers, and environmental barriers. Now here we have the common barriers to effective communication. The use of jargon could be overcomplicated or used unfamiliar terms. Jargon means you are not able to understand the terms. Those terms can be very specific, which you are not able to understand clearly. It is not relevant for everybody. These kind of terms will be called as jargon. They can be complicated, too complicated for you to understand. So you have to use very simple terms which is generalized for each and every person. Emotional barriers can be there, like you are emotionally attached to a few things you do not want to change. So they can be, if somebody is trying to communicate with you, you are having some kind of barriers against that person. So emotional barriers can be there. Differences in perception can be there. There can be physical disabilities, like some people have hearing problems, some people are not able to speak clearly. So these are physical barriers, disabilities. Then physical barriers also include lead to non-verbal communication. Then we have language differences. You are not able to understand the language of people. There may be expectation of people. There may be some kind of stereotypes which you are not able to overcome. People often hear what they expect to hear rather than what is actually said and jump to incorrect conclusion. For example, if you are saying something to your friend, then if that person is having some kind of perception in their mind, if you are speaking about Mr. A, to Mr. B, and that Mr. B is having some kind of perception about Mr. A, then no matter what you say about A, B will understand whatever he wants to understand. So that is expectation and prejudices. Then cultural differences may be there. One thing which is going on in one place may be different, may not be welcomed in some other place, like what goes on in south may not be welcome in north area of India. Similarly, the North Indians have certain kind of tradition which may not be welcome in the south region of India. So overcoming barriers, how to overcome? So first of all, you have to listen actively. You should be active listener. You should try to listen and inculcate whatever has been spoken. There is a basic difference between hearing and listening. Listening is first hearing and then trying to imbibe or take whatever interpretation has been taken out from whatever has been heard. But hearing is only just hearing whatever has been said and not getting the point from whatever has been said. Language should be simple. Feedback should be constructive. Feedback, whatever feedback has been given, should give some kind of response or add something to the message which has been said. It should be constructive. It should be meaningful. So the communication is very important for all the living beings. Now lastly, we come to the 7 C's of communication, which is very important. First is completeness. The communication has to be complete. Conciseness, which means whatever you want to convey in least possible words without forging the other C's of communication. मतलब आपको कम से कम वर्ड्स में ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा समझाना है. That is conciseness. Then we come consideration. Consideration means stepping into the shoes of other. We should keep ourselves in somebody else's place and not make prejudices or make some kind of outlook which may not be changed. Then clarity. The communication should be clear. Concreteness means that the communication has to be particular and clear. It should not have irrelevant information, and all the information should be tried and tested and should be having some kind of meaning to it. It should be supported with specific facts and figures also, because concrete messages are never misinterpreted. If you are giving the facts and figures with the message, then it may not be misinterpreted. Then we have courtesy. Courtesy in message implies that the message should show the sender expression as well as the respect for the receiver. You should show some kind of respect for the receiver. There should be some kind of courtesy in your message. The point of view of the receiver should also be taken, and there should not be any bias in that. And correctness in the communication means there should not be any grammatical errors in the communication. The message has to be correct and well timed, and it should be accurate. So these are the 7 C's of communication. These are the 7 C's. So here we have reached to the end of this part, employability skills का जो communication वाला part है for the class 10th. So I hope that you are able to understand the things. So thank you and have a nice day.